Hello and welcome to another episode of Aware, It's Football. Today we're here to discuss the UEFA Champions League Final between Liverpool and Real Madrid in Paris. And today I'm joined by John Dunlop. John, go ahead.
What's up, guys? What's up, guys?
John looking half asleep as ever. And a sort of return to the channel somewhat by Wade.
Guys.
Yeah, I see your chin is looking as round as ever.
That's the most humble greeting Wade has ever given on the channel.
And thanks to our chief editor, Clint, for making us look more good looking than we actually are. So, guys, let's discuss it. I want to get the thoughts on the spectacle as a whole, Liverpool versus Real Madrid. We'll start with you, Wade.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think, I've long held that the Champions League, for me, with the exception of the World Cup, is the biggest spectacle in football. And I think that given that this is, Real Madrid going to extend their already insane trophy run in the Champions League versus Liverpool, who potentially could have done the quadruple, City took the league. Liverpool are looking at a somewhat kind of treble, League Cup, FA Cup, Champions League. I think, all things considered, it's going to be a spectacle of note. I think, bar, let's say, City taking the Premier League, I think Liverpool are the most exciting team in England to watch. Real Madrid is the best team in Spain. You could make an argument that, the two teams essentially are the best in the world to watch. And it'll be the two best teams going head-to-head with one another. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Klopp even just beat Pep to that LM Manager of the Year award. So, I mean, I think Ancelotti is a historically great manager, probably top three. Klopp is one of the best, if not the best manager in the world, debatably so. You've got two of the best teams in the world, arguably the best number 9 in the world, on form, playing as great as ever. I think all things considered, it's going to be, one for the books. I think Liverpool will also be looking to make amends after, I think it was their 2018 loss to Real Madrid. So, let's just see how it plays out.
Yeah. No, I mean, Salah actually preferred to play Real Madrid over Manchester City. And I think it's more of a Champions League spectacle by Liverpool versus Real Madrid as opposed to facing Manchester City. I mean, we've been playing Manchester City the whole season, so it's like just another domestic game.
But I think it's also, that there's something about the sense of prestige, like when the greatest manager Mourinho says, football heritage, you need that sort of titans in the Champions League going at one another. I mean, Man City have no Champions League foreground, background, anything. With Real Madrid there, you at least have the most successful, and then you have the most successful British team. There's like a rich history coming into this final, and a sort of recent history with Real Madrid coming, up tops against them.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think that with Liverpool coming into this game, I think this is arguably one of the best Liverpool teams, like in recent history. And I think us going up against this Real Madrid team, I don't think it's the best Real Madrid team in recent history. I think that three-peat Real Madrid team was the best. But I mean, they still find a way to make it through to the knockout stages, into the final. But John, what do you think of the spectacle as a whole?
I mean, it's the biggest game in club football. No doubt about that. I do agree with Wade. It's probably the second biggest game to the World Cup final. And I mean, I think we know what it means to the players at this stage now. I mean, both teams are filled with players that have won it, who know how to win it. But I can guarantee they're all still going to put 200% on that field. They're going to leave everything out there because they know what it means to win the Champions League. Doesn't matter how many times you win it. You can win it again. It just means that much more. Simple as that. And as a United fan, it hurts for me to be awake this early in the morning speaking about Liverpool in the Champions League final. But it is what it is.
Just John, I'm going to stay on you there for a second. What do you think we can expect from the game, and what's your top 3 on-field battles as well?
Well, I'm hoping for a final that doesn't end up at a penalty shootout. I really am sick and tired and fed up of actually waiting 120 minutes for a game to have a final result, especially for a final. I think From a Madrid perspective, I think they'll start out very practical in the first half and just try to hold Liverpool out. I think with the better midfield, Madrid will come out in the second half looking to actually dominate and apply pressure and hopefully actually get themselves on the front foot. Where I think Liverpool, on the other hand, will start out at 120 miles an hour. I think they'll look to press early on and probably, in the typical Liverpool fashion, try to take an early lead, maybe a 2-0 lead into the half time. Where obviously I think in the second half the tides will turn and they'll be more practical, try to hold Real Madrid out, keep the lead, and maybe look to counter and grab another goal. But I think also in the second half, when Madrid apply pressure, I think Benzema will come into play a lot more. I think the link-up play with him and Vinicius and other wingers and probably Modric also will be vital if they're looking to score in the second half. I'll be surprised. Sorry, let me rephrase that. I wouldn't be surprised if Real Madrid look to score in the first half, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they just look to keep a 0-0 going into the second half. I think the midfield battle as a whole will be vital in this game. Like I said, with Real Madrid having the better all-round midfield with if Kroos, Modric and Casemiro start, they should dominate, especially in the second half, like I said. But Thiago has been playing quite well recently, if I'm being honest, and Henderson is a reliable captain. I think that battle in general will be interesting. I think Ryan, you might agree with me. I think the battle on the left-hand side between Trent and Vinicius will be interesting. I think if Vinicius doesn't help out back on the left-hand side, especially in the first half, they'll battle. And I think obviously with Trent not being a prolific defender like other like other right backs, it'll be an interesting battle between him and Vinicius. And also just with the form, like Wade has mentioned, the form Benzema's in, I think the battle between him and Virgil, because I'm pretty sure Virgil will look to keep him on the back foot as much through the game as possible. I know obviously he drops in to link up play, but I think Virgil or Fabinho will be on the back of him the whole game to prevent that, because he's so vital with Real Madrid going forward. But I still think Virgil holding his movement, keeping track of him throughout the game will be a good battle to see.
Yeah, no, thanks for that, John. Wade, what do you think?
Tell me, Rai, you know, when I look at this, I think that the three battles, the first one I'm going for is the Virgil Benzema battle. I think, it's long been known. Well, I've canvassed this quite substantially. I've said for a long time, Benzema, is the best number 9 in the world. I think one thing we don't take cognizance of is how good his off-the-ball movement is whenever he's, playing. And I think, where normally if Real Madrid are going to use the fullbacks to give crosses into the box, he's not going to stand a chance against Virgil. But the one thing about Benzema that's different to most strikers in the Premier League, the off-the-ball movement, the touch, and bringing others into the game, I think that brings a different dynamic to Real Madrid's attack in total. I think the second big one is that midfield battle. Whilst, I do believe Real Madrid have the best midfielder in the world with Modric, even at 37 years old. I think that, Liverpool as a whole, Thiago's come into play, the Bayern-esque. But one thing about Ancelotti that he does very differently, and you would know if you just follow Real Madrid in recent games, is that when he doesn't want to start a pressing game in the beginning, he tends to put 4 midfielders in there. Casemiro, Modric and Kroos, but also Frankie Valverde. And he likes to hold that midfield in there together. The way I see the game playing out is that I think, Real Madrid come out in the first 10 to 15 minutes to try to get a goal. Naturally, Ancelotti is an Italian manager, and I think he does, like structure in his play. And I can see that once Real Madrid either score or don't score, I can see Liverpool dominating the first half, getting the better of the game. I think where Real Madrid, really come into play is that last 10, 15 minutes, there's just something about them. You saw it against City. I mean, when you're watching that City game, I always tell people when we chat about it that Man City didn't lose the game in the second leg. They lost it in the first leg when they just conceded those 3 goals. They dominated that game from start to finish. But like any true champion, Champions League team that has that Champions League heritage, Real Madrid just showed, whether it's the manager, whether it's the players, it's a team that's done it 4 times in the last 6 years. So I think, all things considered, it'll be, Liverpool who will, in Klopp's typical rock and roll fashion, dominate the game, consistent attack. But I think, come the second half, I actually see, Real Madrid dominating the midfield battle. I think the midfield is just a little bit stronger. And I think that, if I'm not mistaken, Asensio, Bale, Benzema, Vinicius Jr. I just think, there's options on the Real Madrid bench that can hurt Liverpool more than options on the Liverpool bench that can hurt Real Madrid more.
And Hazard on the bench as well.
Well, I don't even know if Hazard's going to be fit. I'm not sure, actually. I think, my last battle actually is going to be, look, I think Fabinho is one of the best defensive midfielders in, the Premier League. You could give a toss-up with holding and defensive between him and Rodri. But I'm actually going to say that, how that defensive midfield battle holds out Casemiro and Fabinho is going to be determinative to, how that midfield battle essentially plays out. And, I've long held Casemiro as the best defensive midfield in the world. I don't think, there's any defensive midfielder that comes close. And, if he's playing at full cylinder and the Real Madrid midfield is at its best, Benzema's on form, I just think, whilst we're going to get to it, I think Real Madrid will come out tops in this one.
Look, I agree with Casemiro being pivotal, but I think that he actually had quite a poor game against City in the second leg. Obviously, he didn't play in the first leg, but I felt that with a different referee on the day, he could have gotten sent off. There were like 2 or 3 yellow card challenges in the first half that you just got a ticking off kind of thing,
Yeah.
So I think for my 3 battles, I believe I share the same sentiments as John in terms of the Vinny and Trent battle. I also don't think that Vinicius Jr. is going to really track back as much as maybe Carlo would like. But then I think there'll be an overload on that right-hand side / Real Madrid's left-hand side. And then obviously with the counter-attacks, that's where we're going to be left exposed. So I think that's why Konate will start, because he has that pace to at least keep up maybe with Vinny. But I think he'll just be a little bit too physical, and I think Vinny is actually going to go down a little bit too easily a few times in the game, which he did in previous games. Apologies for the break in transmission, ladies and gentlemen. So basically what I'm trying to say is that Vinicius Jr. is going to cream Trent Alexander-Arnold. Sorry to say it. The other midfield battle, I think something that Wade alluded to, is Valverde. But I think the Valverde and Thiago battle is going to be interesting, because that guy does not run out of juice. Valverde, this is. And I think if Thiago can just track his runs, if Thiago doesn't start, if he's not fit enough to start, I think Henderson can do the job. But I think it's important to actually just track Valverde's runs, because obviously when he gets in behind, then it allows midfield runners, it allows Benzema to get in the box, etc. So I think that's an important battle. And the last one is, I think, Casemiro versus Sadio Mane. I've noticed that Sadio Mane has been playing actually like a false number 9. He's been dropping a little bit deep, playing the number 9 role or so. And I think if Casemiro actually tracks him, then I think that'll be a good battle and a key battle in that regard. But it'll be interesting to see if Klopp takes a more pragmatic approach in this final, because in the 2019 final against Spurs, we played a poor game, but I think Klopp had to win that game, so we threw our game plan aside and you just focus on actually just getting that title kind of thing. So it'll be interesting to see if we're going to play the normal Liverpool way, or we're going to actually just adapt a little bit to actually just try and get the number 7 in the bag. But I wanna hear from you guys. What do you think about the score predictions? John, you want to go ahead?
Do I have to?
Well, it's not United, so there's no commentator or anything like that. So
my heart prays for a Real Madrid victory. That's all I'm saying. But my head is saying other things. But I had the same mentality for when Real Madrid faced PSG, when they faced Chelsea, when they faced Man City. I actually thought they wouldn't be strong enough again in all those ties, and they proved me wrong. Like Wade said, that Champions League heritage, that Champions League prestige, Real Madrid in the Champions League is just a different animal. Even with some of the newer players they have, even after the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo leaving, look how well they've done with Benzema definitely taking his place. And not being far behind him in terms of performances. My heart says a 3-2 victory to Real Madrid. I know it's stupid to make 2 predictions, but my footballing brain says a 3-1 victory to Liverpool.
Thank you, John.
It pains me to say it, but I'm not too sure. I'm just hoping and praying that King Kareem comes through for us.
When you say for us, who do you mean?
For the footballing
Every single
fraternity.
English football fan.
Anyone but Liverpool fans.
Wait, what's your prediction?
Look, I think, there's a lot of factors to be considered. I think one of them is the rest. Since Real Madrid won La Liga, they've had a lot more rest than Liverpool have. And I think that, whether or not you factor this into the discussion, the manner in which Liverpool, I wouldn't say lost the league on the final day, but, City pulling it back. I think Liverpool were really gunning for that quadruple. I think the rest Real Madrid have had that little sort of mentality block, if any. And, all things considered, I think that, Ancelotti is a multiple-time Champions League winning coach versus Klopp. And I think that, the one thing that those Real Madrid players have, it's a unique blend of youth and experience. And, players that have won this Champions League, not once, not twice, but 3 times. I think the one thing Real Madrid will know how to do on the field is, play to their strengths and control the tempo according to how they want the game to be played. I think all things considered, it's the rest factor that's going to slightly give me the little edge for Real Madrid. I think I'm going to go for a 2-1 win, Real Madrid. But I mean, who knows with Klopp? I said this before. It's either going to be, a tight game where Real Madrid edge it, or Real Madrid's going to get battered. And I'm going to go for the 2-1 Real Madrid.
Can I just say, to get it out of the way, if Liverpool do win, and it's a big if, it is not a proper treble. Can we get that out of the way, please?
I'm pretty sure United fans were canvassing it was a treble when Mourinho won that Community Shield, League Cup, and Europa League.
Never. I did never. With the Community Shield, no.
It's a trophy. How is it not a treble?
It's not the proper treble, Ryan. The treble has to include the league title, please.
But it's 3, and a treble is 3. So
not the Carabao Cup.
I did proper maths here, not maths lit.
Yeah, John did maths lit, but...
Yeah, please.
I never said it's not a treble. I just said it's not the proper treble. That's all. I just wanted to get that out of the way. It's a B-Tech treble.
All right, let's hear your prediction.
Look, I think Liverpool are going to cream Madrid. I say comprehensive 4-1 victory. Reason why I say that is because when you're up against this Real Madrid team, you need to be winning by 3 goals with 1 minute left in the game. You just can't put it past them. You can't put it past them. But yeah, I just think that I'm so confident about this game that we're going to properly cream them. And it's not really revenge for 2018 or anything like that, but I think it's just an intent, just to stamp our authority on the Champions League, this Liverpool team. So yeah, that's my prediction.
I will say this though, I think Real Madrid's defending is it could be costly.
Yeah, look, I'm not so sure about that Nacho and Alaba pairing, eh?
Yeah,
it could be interesting. That's why I think Real Madrid will try to contain them in the first half as much as they can.
I don't know, but I think, that's why Ancelotti tends to, put the 4 midfielders vis-a-vis the classic 3. I think because, he probably recognizes that, Alaba's centre-back partner in this, whilst a faithful servant to Real Madrid is not necessarily the strongest. I think, if, let's say they had Varane and it was Varane, Alaba, it'll be a different story. Maybe you can play the midfield trio. But I mean, that would be my only cause for concern for Real Madrid. And, the way Liverpool attacks so direct, Mane, Salah, and Diaz has been phenomenal. I think that's where Real Madrid can get hurt.
Yeah. We can all agree before we end off, I think, whether Real Madrid win or lose, Benzema for Ballon d'Or.
Agreed. KB Nuave.
Look, I think if Liverpool win, I mean, you can't put it past Mane as well. I mean, you won AFCON as well. So,
League Cup, FA Cup, Champions League.
Yeah, because it would be good to see an African winner after all these years. Yeah, I think that's about wraps up the episode for today. I hope you duly enjoy the Champions League final and in particular Liverpool win. We will see you again soon. And don't forget to, John,
like, comment, and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen.